This episode is brought to you by Leo Bato and Associates, ang realtor na patok.
SoCal Filipino, whose idea was it?
Actually, it was my idea. It was born during the pandemic. We were stuck at home, and I was just thinking, it'd be a good way for us to connect the community. Really, I really thought it was just going to be me and my friends. I have a good number of Filipino friends. I grew up in Carson, so huge shout out to Carson because
Carson!
Big Filipino community there. And we were stuck at home. We didn't have any human interaction. So I was like,
Right.
what's the best next thing? People connect through social media.
Correct.
So we formed the group in June 18 of 2020. And
Wow.
yeah, it's not even 2 years.
So it was born on June 18, 2020. And what was the goal?
Really, it was just like connecting the Filipino community. Well, really, I thought it was just going to be me and my friends. So me and my somebody who I met on social media, John Eric Babalan. I was
Yeah.
I was like, we met. We're just like, hey, why don't we start up a new group? Just to connect, and we were thinking it was more going to be about more just memes, Filipino memes. So
Yeah.
the comedic route, but as it evolved within in the next 2 years. Well, we're not even 2 years, but it evolved into doing more workshops. Like when we recognized Filipino American History Month, that was the birth of our first programming. So we did
Galing.
we did something on Alibata. We did something on we did a cooking demo with the authors of the Filipino Instant Pot Cookbook, and then we had Rod, who is, I want to say he's the mayor of Daly City right now, but he's also an educator, and he educated us on Filipino American history. And from there, it's just continued. We just continued our program till today.
And you mentioned a while ago it's a 501c3 or a nonprofit, right?
Yeah, we turned it into a nonprofit.
Whose idea was that again?
Actually, I'm gonna credit that to
John.
John because
Okay.
he's like, it's probably best for us to go into the 501c3, especially since it cost us some money.
I know.
To produce programming, but also and the additional work that we do behind the scenes because everybody is volunteers that work
Right.
on SoCal Filipinos.
You know what? Speaking of John, no, John Eric Pabalan, shout out, because when Paco's Place was new, Paco's Place was founded before the pandemic,
Oh,
like a
Same.
few months before the pandemic, and then we continued on during the pandemic, and John Eric would be supporting my personal vlog and Paco's Place, and he was the one who really helped push the channel forward. So shout out.
yes, John Eric.
Yeah.
He's like he's the man behind the scenes. He doesn't like to be in front of the camera.
Do tell, you know?
So he does all the logistics, all our accounting, anything that's like that we have to deal with behind the scenes. That's him.
Let's talk about SoCal Filipino, because in every organization there are bad apples, there are trolls, there are people who think that they own the group or the channel or whatever you want to call it. How do you guys deal with those people?
Yeah, no. So we have a team of I want to say about 6 or 7 that really focus on approving posts, approving members, looking at anything that's reported.
Right.
So they make sure that they monitor that. So if there is a troll or if anything's reported, we vet it, and then if we feel like we need to take it down, we take it down. There are certain topics that we don't allow into the group just because we know it creates a divide. So no politics.
Okay.
That's obviously very divisive,
Very.
especially depending on your political view. It just creates trouble. Religion is another one.
Yeah.
So those are the main 2 that we really look at. We don't allow bullying or name calling, so those will also automatically be taken down.
Right. Promoting events, that's something that you guys let loose.
Yeah, events, of course, because
Memes.
comedic memes. I mean, John Eric, again, he doesn't like saying it, but he's the man behind the memes that we post. They're very relatable. They're funny. I think most recently because it was Lumpia Day, so
Right?
so he posted something.
Wasn't
about
it
that.
yesterday or today?
It was last Wednesday, and
Last
we
Wednesday.
partnered with Island Pacific and Tonji on this past Saturday in Oxnard. We did a lumpia eating contest.
It's nice, no, that you guys are doing this, because I have 2 friends. Her name's Mick Diaz, and another one is Wendy Lindo, and they have their own podcasts as well. And people actually have asked me, what do I say about podcasts that are Filipino born and bred here in Los Angeles? And I'm like, we should have more. Like SoCal Filipino, that's a good thing because it benefits everybody in the community. But there are other Filipino groups who some of them contentious, some of them have an agenda. How do you deal with those groups who are more antagonistic as opposed to, come on, let's come together, bond together, and make it a stronger community, like those people?
Yeah, that's really why we wanted SoCal Filipinos, because we wanted a more positive atmosphere. We wanted it to be a place where people feel welcome and safe.
Right.
I know sometimes things do get through the cracks, like which we talked about previously.
Yeah.
As for the other groups, I mean, that's their group. That however they handle it, we don't really interact with any other groups, depending on what it is. Because right now with SoCal Filipinos, it is the main group, but we have now gone into subgroups. Just because there's different communities within SoCal Filipinos that want to feel connected.
Cookie groups.
Well, not cookie groups, but we actually do have one that's specific to the LGBTQIA community now. That's a private group because, again, we want to make sure that they're safe and make sure it's a safe place for them.
Right.
It's named Bahaghari. So it just started not too long ago, and we have several admins on there. One, Carla. Shout out to Carla.
Shout out, Carla.
Because she is an amazing person. She is doing great things. She's actually going to the White House, meeting President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris. She was recently featured on Lady Gaga's World Kindness Day video. So she's doing a lot of great things. I'm just happy that she's part of the SoCal Filipinos team.